Hello and welcome to Stir Crazy Arts Classes with Gerald Savine, lesson number 13. We're going back again to the painting of the Malvern Hills. Now this time, hopefully the background hills have dried out of it, so we're going to start bringing in some of the trees. Now here I'm mixing the sap green with a bit of ultramarine, which gives a nice sort of dark colour. Now I'm going to plonk. Now these are going to be just dabbing the colour on. Careful that we follow the line of the hill down. But then just doing dabs of colour, and rather than that, because the brush, the colour that goes on now, because it's not smooth, will just look a little bit like trees and foliage. But of course here it's darker because it's right in the shadow of the hills, so it's going to be quite dark in colour. But again, what it helps also is just to give a bit of variety of colours, so it helps the trees to stand out a bit more against the background. But again, there's very little detail here because they're a long way away, and they're going to be, just be careful around here because we're going to put some other greens in there. So I'm getting a mixture of the greens, and as you might have noticed, some of the trees have got a more sort of what I call sepia or colours, or the browns and things that are there, but we'll see that later. Again, can you see how that's working? It's giving character to that as well. And then we've got all these trees coming up behind. As I say, you never land up with your pictures being the same, do them more than once. So we're landing up with trees coming up behind here. These are going to be, eventually they will be buildings, representing Malvern. And again, it helps if we go around like this, it allows the buildings to stand out, as you'll see later on when we get round to painting those. And then we've gone quite blue greens through the background here. Again, here there's a bit more blue in the colour. Because again here the things merge together into the distance with less detail. But hopefully you can sort of see how that's sort of working. Now we've now got more colouring up there, so again because we're nearer to us as opposed to the ones we've just been doing, again here we're going to be try and get a little bit more character in the brighter green. What is along there is actually a footpath, so there's a sort of bits of shrubs and things or growing along by the footpath. But again, what it does here is gives a bit of character to the hills as well. Now, as we come over the hill, it's going to get a little bit darker, so I'm going to bring a bit more. I'm going to bring a little bit of Payne's grey into this, just to darken this down. I'll be careful with saying that, but it's sort of gone round the bend a bit, so it's getting a bit of shadow from the hill itself. It doesn't go all the way down, but there we go. It gets a bit lower down here. So there we go. So we've got that happening. So can you see it just beginning to build up? We haven't put, because it's a long way away, we haven't got much detail here. As we come forward, as you'll see that we'll put more and more detail in. Now first of all here, we're going to have, can you see how that's lighter and then darker on top? So here we're going to go in with a green being a little bit thinner, working it along. We could pull the colour along and it thins it down. We can come right down into where the field is. Again, dabbing in the colour. Excuse me. And as we come across, we can just pull the colour along. Now we'll be painting over this shortly, again, so we can get the sort of layers of tree, because it's quite a wooded area. Sometimes just mixing some of the colours up a little bit here. Let's try and do as quickly as we can. The pencil mark's beginning to show up a bit, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to just try and thin this down a bit. But we still want it to be darker than the grass here. So we need to bring a bit more, perhaps a little bit more blue into the green, just to give it a bit of a difference. But because we're going to put some darker colours in here, it gives it more character to the trees. And again, pull it forward in comparison to here where we just kept the. Hopefully, you'll see that. And again, this is making the framework for the main subject of the painting, which is going to be the church. If you paint a line like that, push up straight away so you don't end up with. Excuse me, but I'm going to sneeze. Hay fever's a right pain. Hopefully you can just see that it's just adding a bit more dark into this. It pulls it forward from the hill in the background. But we'll also be adding some other darker colours into this. You can see how this is all coming together. We want it to be lighter than that there, so it stands out. So now I'm going to pick up more pigment on the brush, less water, so I can then go back and you'll just begin to see how it gives a little bit more depth to the trees. Again, you have to bear in mind, I have to do this quite quickly. I'll have to watch the time on this again. I'd like to be able to leave you with perhaps a bit more sessions than just doing the two. I want to be able to leave you with enough to be getting on with until Friday. And what I'm going to do here again is I'm going to make it, bring in a bit more. I'm going to bring a bit more Payne's grey. You can bring in ultramarine blue if you like. But again, I'm just going to work along here because obviously you get shadow underneath the trees. Can you see how it's beginning to work? And again here, by doing it here, again it helps to frame, will help to frame the subject of the painting. I'm just bringing a bit more Payne's grey in with the green, just to give a bit more character. But again, by dabbing, you give this sort of feeling of the trees, and so because obviously they're not flat objects, I'm going to be a bit round there as well. So. Right, so what I'm not sure, I've lost track of time here. I think we're just about ready. Another 5 minutes. Right, got my director standing next to me and telling me what to do. Life never changes for us men, does it? I should get kicked later. Couldn't be doing this without my dear Janice. Very patient. Again here I'm going to bring in some, can you see again, this is a brighter green because we come further forward. But again at the moment it's not showing up so well, but it's when we bring in the other colours, darker colours, it'll give a bit more character, as we did there as well. But hopefully you can see how it's beginning to all come forward. Again, I'm going to pick up some darker colouring, dabbing underneath there. Just beginning to bring in a little bit more detail in here. And when I say that, I'm sort of a bit more up round there like that. See, and it gradually, again, just gives it, because there's a little bit more information coming there, gives a bit more character and helps just to pull the trees a bit more into the foreground compared to the ones behind them. But again, at this stage, we haven't overdone the detail. That will come later. Now here again, I'm just going to bring in a less detailed colouring. I'll put a bit more blue in it, I think. I'll do this very quickly because we are beginning to run out of time now. I'll thin this down a bit because I want the trees in the fore in front of it to be more noticeable. So here again, a bit more blue into the, whoops, too much, never mind. Too much colour. So we're just coming up to the break. Just get this in as quickly as I can because we're going to allow that to dry. But again, I'm taking some of the colour carefully up against the building. And I'm dabbing the colour on, dabbing it around where the trees in the front will be. Okay, so that'll be it for the moment, and then we'll come back and we'll get some more work done in the next session. Okay, so see you soon. Bye for now.